aboard! All aboard! Ah, well, hello there. So, you're getting on this train, huh? You know, I've been conducting this train for a good couple of years now. Been through a lot with her. I remember the "I got nothing up my butt" incident back in 2019. There was also the Florida man who threw a Bible at a police officer. Oh, and don't get me started about the year 2020. Oh, boy. Ah. So listen, if you're new here, I gotta read this this piece of paper for you. It's sort of a legal thing, you know. Here we go. Warning. The following show may feature some adult language and adult scenarios that are not suitable for those under the age of 18 to 21 years old. If you are under this age, please consult your parents and or legal guardians for permission to listen to this show. Listener discretion is strongly advised. Well, with that out of the way, will you still be getting on? Excellent. Well, let me just punch your ticket for you. And welcome to Trademark's Trainwreck.
Boingo, boingo. I mean, you can't get a better band, man. You really can't.
No, you can't. Good evening, passengers, and welcome to tonight's episode of Trademark's Trainwreck, a show featured on Celestia Radio, all fandom, all the time. With me here tonight, as always, is RandomGreymane.
Boingo, boingo.
We should have Sherlock somewhere down the line for this episode.
We have to target him with the nets, so, it's taking us some time.
Yeah. See, he's a slippery bastard. Meanwhile, how are you doing, Gray?
I'm that's about all I can do right now.
Yeah, I'm pretty much doing as well. That's pretty much all anyone is doing. And while I've been doing, at the time of this recording, the mouse, as Gray refers to Disney Plus,
The mouse.
they have released their latest addition to the Marvel Cinematic Universe, and that is the web exclusive series Loki. That is
definitely on my to watch list. It really is.
Yeah, episode 1 has been released as of this recording. By the time this episode comes out, episode 2 will more than likely be out, because we do recording on the Wednesday, and we release episodes the Wednesday after, so long as my editing is up to snuff. But yeah.
We're giving away our trade secrets.
But yeah, without spoiling anything for my co-host and for anyone who hasn't seen episode 1 yet, Loki is pretty much a series that focuses on the wibbly-wobbly, timey-wimey shenanigans that happened during Endgame Part 2. Specifically the part where Loki from the first Avengers movie got his hands on the Tesseract and bamfed away before he got sent to Asgard to face his trial, and then Thor: The Dark World happened. That is when an agency apprehends Loki and classifies him as a variant, because he has pretty much gone against the timeline. And of course, everyone's been wondering ever since Loki bamfed out of existence, what the fuck does this mean for the timeline? Like, what does this mean? Well, I think this series is actually going to explain that and show us all the timey-wimey stuff and how it connects to what everyone's been thinking about recently in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, the multiverse.
Marvel is better about their multiverse than DC is. They really are. So
Yeah. Yeah, like they've been hinting at it just recently. I don't know if they did so anytime earlier, probably not. But yeah, they've certainly been handling things with the concept of multiverses better than DC, because DC just recently have been like, the Snyderverse is the good ending while the theatrical release is the bad ending. It's just like, what the fuck are you on about?
the thing that I think calls it for me about the DC universe versus the Marvel one is that Marvel did their multiverse on purpose. Okay?
Yes.
DC did not. What happened to DC is that they fucked up their writers' Bibles. Okay,
They
and
really did.
too many people wrote too many offshoots. Okay, and they had to fix it, and that's why we got the DC multiverse. Okay, but Marvel did this on purpose, so there's a little bit more, you know, purpose in that, like a little bit more thought.
Yes.
So
Especially because, they've actually been planning it for a while, what with one of the future films being called Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness, or something. And there's also the Spider-Man film that's going to be focusing on, well, actually, that allegedly has the Spider-Verse stuff in it from Into the Spider-Verse. And
Sony, stop being dicks.
and
Sorry.
maybe WandaVision's somehow going to be involved in all of that. I don't know. I haven't seen that. Cause
Neither have I.
because the difference between WandaVision and Loki, in my opinion, actually, I really can't explain why I haven't seen WandaVision as opposed to Loki. I think it's just that I don't think I really cared too much about Wanda and Vision.
They're a hard couple to get invested in.
Yeah, they're good
They
characters,
are.
don't get me wrong, but it's just like, eh, like,
Yeah, it's
I don't know.
yeah. I get where you're going with this, because it is kind of hard to get invested with Wanda. Okay. Because she's all over the place.
Yeah, like, one minute she's
First she's
Russian, one minute she's, actually, you explain it, Gray. It's been a while. It's been a
it,
while.
it isn't just that she's Russian and inconsistent. It's the fact that she's inconsistent as a character. I mean, one minute she's a good guy, one minute she's a bad guy. Yeah, and it's just she's hard to like. Okay? Yes, you can come up with some sympathy for her for a lot of things that have happened in her life.
Oh yeah, of course.
But she's really hard to, just say, oh, I like
Really,
her. I share a beer with her or something.
yeah.
Something along those lines. And it's yeah.
She's really hard to keep track of. And from what I understand, and I could be completely wrong, I don't know. I haven't seen the series. I think WandaVision is entirely her own damn fault. Well,
I
actually,
have
no,
not.
not entirely. There's some dickery from a third party somewhere in there. I know that much, but for the most part, it's her fault.
Yeah, I haven't seen the series, so I can't comment. It's on my watch list. I was going to try and rewatch all the Avengers films first, um, and all the canon films first before I started that, but I don't think that's going to happen. So I'll probably watch it here at some point.
Yeah, I
Now,
think.
the only part of the canon that I'm really missing is all the Spider-Man fucking stuff, because I can't watch it online legally.
Yeah,
And it's really irritating me that Sony and the Mouse haven't come to an agreement there.
they should have done that years ago. Like, come on. But anywho, I think the thing that makes Loki fun to watch is that, for one thing, yeah, they're explaining how Loki bamfing out of Avengers 1 makes sense and how they're gonna deal with that. But also, it's fucking Loki. Like, it's Tom Hiddleston still being that snarky little pissant who's just like, I'm destined for greater things. Fuck the Avengers.
There's going to be some point at which somebody's going to try and recast him, and I don't think that's ever going to work.
No.
I really don't. He's so integral to the character, and recasting him is going to be tough.
It's going to be so fucking hard. Like, they're going to need some...
It's like recasting... It's like recasting Robert Downey Jr.
Yeah.
Okay? You can't. He's Tony
You can't
Stark.
have another Iron Man. You can't have another Loki. Not unless you have really good casting.
Right. Yeah. You would have to knock it out of the park as far as your casting was concerned, and then you would have to show people like casting call videos to say, "Hey, this is why we chose this person."
Exactly.
Okay. Otherwise, you would have a complete rebellion among the fans, and everybody being
fucking gatekeepers.
Well, yeah, I mean, we already have that problem with a billion things like Star Trek, Wonder Woman. Oh my God, Wonder Woman! Shut up.
Shut the fuck up and let actors have a chance to actually portray the characters, and then pass you judgment when the film actually comes out.
Yeah, it's I really gatekeepers are high on my list of twat waffles. So.
Oh yeah. Speaking of twat waffles,
we should get started.
Yeah, moving on from our somewhat abrupt, spoiler-free semi-review of Loki. TLDR, go watch episode 1 if you haven't already, and then watch episode 2 because that's going to be out when this episode of the Trainwreck actually airs.
And go watch The Bad Batch while you're at it.
Yes, watch The Bad Batch. Anywho, moving on. Welcome to Trademark's Trainwreck, everyone. You know the name of the game. We look at some dumb news that I've collected over the course of a week and laugh at it, and there's music breaks somewhere in the middle, somewhere between the softcore material and the hardcore stuff. But before we do any of that, I think we're going to take a quick break, maybe give Shirley a chance to voluntarily step into the net and to get in here.
And he's a problem every time. Every time I got to readjust the targeting for him.
Mm-hmm. But before we go on our first music break, Greymane, anything you would like to discuss beforehand?
No, not really. We talked about we didn't talk about the Bad Batch, but there's all sorts of things going on in media that I'm finally catching up on. And one of those is obviously the Bad Batch I'm watching, and Loki is definitely on the list, and a couple of other things.
Yeah, so, both of those are good candidates to binge when all the episodes come out. Anywho, we'll be right back, folks. You're listening to Trademark's Trainwreck on Celestial Radio, all fandom all the time, except when once again Sherlock comes in right when we do the commercial break.
I told you I was running late.
I know.
Running being the operative term. He just can't get away from the nets, and I have to retarget every time.
Well, as Thanos once said, I am inevitable. We'll be right back, folks. Welcome back, passengers, to Trademark's Trainwreck, a show featured on Celestial Radio, all fandom, all the time. It's time to start the show off, but before we get to the softcore material, I'm told that Sherlock has a joke for us.
Well, a couple of jokes related to news articles. So apparently, and this would have been perfect for the softcore material. So apparently, Amazon's system was completely shut down for a while yesterday. There's something wrong with their cloud server. Yeah. So, the leadership behind Amazon said there's no problem, not at all. Everything's fine. Yeah. So I'm sure that space launch is going to go perfectly fine.
I have actually heard that shit, and it's just like, okay, Jeff must go. His people need him.
Jeff, not just Jeff and his brother.
Oh.
there are so many memes out there right now about, oh, hey, we're going to launch Jeff Bezos into space and we hope he doesn't come back.
It's like, yeah, do we have to bring him back?
What's your other
Anyway,
one?
the other one I found out about is apparently there's a Harry Potter flagship store, the largest of its kind, just opened up in New York.
Okay.
And I'm thinking, Harry Potter's still relevant?
Yeah.
And then, like, I remember reading the article. It said, it'll feature over 1,000 props from the movies, and I was just like my and a lot of other responses like I heard, especially from good comedians, and I personally thought this. I kind of gave this a little chuckle. Was so. Wait, are you sure it's not the cleaning supplies department of a warehouse?
Gotta put this crap somewhere.
Well, brooms.
Oh, well.
There you go.
Oh, that took me a hot minute. I'm embarrassed.
If you want a good laugh at J.K. Rowling, go and follow a Twitter feed called the Midnight Society.
Ooh.
Okay, and they're a parody thing that parodies conversations between authors. Okay, and they really hammer her about about her transphobia and everything else. She is they voice her with a hiss, okay, like a parcel tongue, and it's hilarious. So go check it out. It's actually a really worthwhile Twitter feed.
Well, switching gears back to our regularly scheduled program, it's time to start the softcore material, and stop me if you've heard this one before, gentlemen. Man wearing D.A.R.E shirt is, of course, busted on felony drug charge.
Okay.
This is oddly familiar.
This shit keeps happening! How does this keep happening? You would think that once was enough.
Oh, jeez.
For those who are too young to remember, D.A.R.E was an organization that basically taught kids that drugs were bad, okay?
D.A.R.E was what's the acronym?
Give me a minute. Drug Abuse Resistance Education.
Yeah, that's right. It got really popular. So here's the really funny thing about this. Gray is too old, Trade is too young. But I, the geriatric millennial, is when the D.A.R.E programs got started. And
that's not true.
1983 was when the program was founded.
Yeah.
It wasn't founded? Okay, because it didn't come to my neck of the woods until like probably 10 years later.
I never even
was all for school when I was growing up.
I
never even had it happen. Then again, my memory's absolutely shot to hell.
Oh no! By the time you were around, in grade school, like the age where they would start doing this, which was like fifth grade, I'm pretty sure they ran out of funding. I'm pretty sure nationwide they just decided to not do it anymore.
Yeah, they pretty much did what they were supposed to do to begin with, and taught kids that drugs were bad through the technique of common sense.
No, they didn't.
Well,
it was all scare tactics.
It was all scare. It's all scare tactics. It's basically what the Bush senior administration did.
Yeah, fair enough. The anywho.
What was the old phrase? Drugs are Reagan's something or other. It was that far enough back. We're using drugs are Reagan something, and I can't remember the last what the E stood for, but we were making fun of it even back then. And it's like, really? I mean, do we need this shit?
Speaking of do we need this shit, let's get to the actual article. This was posted on June 4th, 2021. This is Tanner Hutchison, or Hutchison, whichever. The 27-year-old Missouri man was arrested on a felony narcotics charge following an auto incident in Colombia. Hutchinson was a passenger in a vehicle involved in a DWI incident. A Colombia...
He's the passenger? Why'd they arrest him?
Well, let's find out. A Columbia Police Department spokesperson declined to identify the controlled substance Hutchinson is alleged to have possessed. He is locked up in lieu of $30,000 bond on the drug charge.
Wait, they're declining to mention what it is?
Apparently. Which
smells bad.
I find
Smells bad.
that a little bit odd.
Smells bad.
Yeah, police never, ever, ever hesitate to say what they caught somebody with.
Right, because it's a matter of pride and it's a shaming, and they do that regularly.
Let's see if I can find any kind of info. I think they mainly picked him up because of the fucking shirt. Come on, give me some kind of... Well, while I look this up, let's go over his rap sheet, because apparently it's a little bit lengthy. His rap sheet includes multiple convictions for theft, as well as convictions for burglary, leaving the scene of an accident, and drug possession. In December, Hudson was sentenced to 5 years in prison on a felony-controlled substance conviction, but a judge suspended execution of the sentence and instead placed him on 5 years probation.
5 years? That's actually pretty extensive.
I don't know what to say. Maybe they were
Granted, this is Missouri.
Yeah, probably.
Missouri. Only for medical marijuana. Okay, so he could have had weed on him. Because they're medical only.
For now.
Yeah. It won't take long.
It is a matter of time. Who do you think the last holdout will be?
Florida.
My bet is Texas.
Texas.
Florida will be a close second because they're still not allowing people to have it for
Texas, or it'll be like one of the upper eastern states, like Vermont or something stupid like that. You know, where it's all white people. Okay,
old white
people who are afraid of everything.
Mm-hmm.
So I can't say much about this except that it smells, because $30,000 bond, okay, on a drug charge, and the guy's white.
Yeah,
okay, so
okay. Here's the thing, like, just on my own professional opinion, as a bailiff of an officer of the court, I have seen guys with drug possession charges come back and forth through the court system day in, day out. And I've seen people with, who were supposed to be on probation got caught with drugs. I've seen people who were with a long rap sheet who got caught with drugs. I have never heard of a 5-year probationary sentence or a $30,000 bond for just possession of a controlled substance of some kind. Like, even when somebody's caught with, like, fucking heroin or meth and they're violating their probation, their bond is like $2,500, maybe $5,000,
more or less.
And then, like, the only time I've ever heard of a bond that's over $15,000 is when it's a violent offender case.
You know what? I'm gonna go with, he's a stupid white kid. He has a record. He had weed in above a certain amount on him, and he pissed off the judge.
Maybe.
Okay? I could go with that, because this sounds like this is a judge teaching somebody a lesson.
This also, it's again, just sounds really hinky, because the cops won't say what the controlled substance was.
Yeah, right, I've been checking all around the place. I don't have any information, so I'm just going to defer to Gray and just say that, this is probably just a case of this guy had weed on him and probably pissed someone off. So we've got
smells.
We got a
mystery. The weed laws in this country from state to state are really stupid.
Really is.
Absolutely.
Quick story. So there's a guy that I heard about who worked in my town. He was the manager of the hardware store, the Orange Hardware Store. Will not name names. And he was moving. And so he crossed state lines, and he had all of his stuff loaded into his truck and trailer, and he got pulled over. For what? Don't know. But, cops, highway patrol don't need a probable cause to pull you over. They can just do it if they feel like it, which is problem number one I have. But then he searched the guy's car, and he found like a sizable amount of weed, not enough to classify as, intent to distribute or sell, but more than what you have for like personal use. And he also had all of his guns in his trailer because he was, moving.
Oh, fuck.
So he got 15 years.
Yeah.
Because he was crossing the state lines with marijuana and he had guns with him. Doesn't matter the context. They're just like, nope, 15 years, federal crime.
Well, let's move on to our next article for the night. Hopefully well, I was about to say maybe this will be more comedic. No, it's really not. This is under the category of creepy. You remember, like, a few weeks ago when I was talking about the older woman that snuck into a high school to promote her Instagram?
Oh, God, yes.
I've got another one. I've got another fucking one.
Heard about this one, too.
Before I fucking read this, what is the fucking deal with people trying to sneak into a fucking high school? If it's a case of trying to reclaim your youth, let me just stop you right there and just say, you're never gonna relive your youth ever again, okay? Time's passed, move on, pay your bills.
Hello, fellow kids.
Hello, fellow kids.
How you do, fellow teens?
Texas mother charged after she snuck into high school pretending to be daughter.
Yep, I heard about this.
I think I saw this one, yeah.
Ugh.
Why? Why in God's name would you do this after the news of that other woman getting busted came out?
Another one published on June 4th, 2021. This comes from San Elizario, Texas. Deputies with the El Paso County Sheriff's Office arrested Casey Garcia, 30, of San Elizario, after the woman was accused by the local school district of trespassing on school grounds posing as a student. The San Elizario Independent School District noted the sheriff's office about the incident on June 1st. Deputies were also alerted to several social media posts circulating online which allegedly documented the incident. One of the videos is Wow, it just really automatically clicked, even though I'm looking at the video right here in the article that I'm reading this from. This woman documented her entire fucking escapade on YouTube. What?
Gotta get them views.
Okay, so one of the videos is titled "Going to School as My 13-Year-Old Daughter, Middle School Edition." The video shows a woman wearing...
What made you think that was a good idea?
Well, at least she was wearing a mask. Because the video shows her wearing a yellow hoodie and a black face mask taking selfies in a restroom. Oh, and eating what appears to be a school cafeteria. Eating in what appears to be a school cafeteria. My brain just fucking stopped there, and I thought the article was going to say she was eating something while in the restroom. And then it's going to go there. And then it deleted the word "in" and made me think that she was eating the school cafeteria. My brain is fucking stupid tonight.
Tonight?
Gee, thanks. Anywho.
This face, okay? Okay, clearly she's got a round adult face and she has crow's feet.
Yes, and she's got laugh lines.
She's got laugh lines. I mean... this is not a teenage face. I mean, maybe she thought the hoodie and the mask would cover it, but oh my God.
Yeah, I mean, I'm also wondering, like, I gotta ask, like, can she wear her daughter's clothes?
I don't know.
Yeah, there are some moms and daughters, okay, who are the same size. This is true. They exist. Okay, but there's a whole point at which you can differentiate between an adult and a teenager. Okay? Yes. And any teenager in high school worth their salt is going to go, that's not her.
It's like, what the fuck's going on?
Yeah, did she not think that her daughter's friends would bump into her and be like, "Hey, wait, what? Hold the phone.
Wait, what? What are you doing here, Mrs. So-and-so?"
Yeah, exactly. No.
Anywho, continuing on. Deputies met with school administrators who identified the woman as Garcia. Detectives conducted an investigation and obtained 2 criminal warrants for Garcia on charges of criminal trespass, and tampering with government records. Oh. Ew. Deputies later located Garcia at her residence and took her into custody. Garcia also documented her encounter with authorities on social media. I'm looking at the video right now. I'm not playing it. I'm not giving this woman any views. Full video of police coming to my house. Why are these still on YouTube, by the way? This is literal evidence.
Because YouTube are idiots, and sometimes it takes a long time to get things removed.
Yes.
It's harder there. Also, she has bags. She has dark bags under her
Yeah,
eyes.
she's got rings.
Oh my god.
Garcia was booked into the El Paso County Detention Facility on both charges and for an unrelated traffic warrant. Her bonds totaled $7,908. The mother has since shared a video in which she explains why she posed as her daughter. It's literally why I pose as my 13-year-old daughter, a raw but real answer. Can I get that answer without giving this woman views? I don't want to give her the satisfaction.
The only thing I could think of, okay, that comes to my mind is that this woman was going to maybe try and make a point of school security. Maybe that's it.
I guess.
Okay, maybe she doesn't feel the school security is good enough. But this is ridiculous. This is a woman seeking views. This isn't a woman who's worried about their school security.
I found it.
So
I found a reason. This is another article. The Texas mother insisted she wasn't seeking to break the law or gain online notoriety. Instead, she said her, quote, social experiment was meant to show the lack of safety protocols at schools and to illustrate how vulnerable students are to threats, especially mass shootings.
What did I tell you?
We need better security at our schools, Garcia said in a video. This is what I tried to prove. I don't mean to be curt, but I kind of feel like I proved it.
She's not wrong.
I mean, she's not wrong.
She really isn't. She's not. So,
but still, there's easier ways to prove this stuff.
There really is.
Okay. There really is.
I don't know what they are, but I assume a majority of the other ways don't involve trespass and tampering with government paperwork or whatever.
You know, if she had a certain amount of money, she could have hired a team to actually do this. Because there's groups of people that do nothing but this. Okay.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, they're
called penetration experts.
Well, I mean, there's an actual term for them. I forgot what they were called.
Social engineering experts. There's a number of terms for them. If you want a funny version of them, go watch the movie Sneakers.
That's what actually what I'm talking about.
Oh.
There's groups of people out there that, as a profession, accept test security. Okay, so maybe she should have hired one of these guys rather than do it herself.
Yeah, probably.
Because these guys are insured to do this stuff. Okay, but no, doing this on your own, but. Maybe she didn't have the money to do that. I don't know. It still doesn't feel... It feels like an excuse. It feels like she's got caught and she's using this as an excuse. So. Yeah,
more than likely. I mean, either way, the school district is responding, according to a quote from Janine Meza Chavez. While there was a breach in security by an individual associated as a parent with the school, we want to assure you that our security measures are being reviewed and evaluated. This was shared in an email that was no doubt sent to parents.
The sad part for me about this is that this is going to result in more security theater, okay, that the kids are going to have to go through.
Yeah.
Okay. They're going to have to, you know, it's almost like you're going to have to chip them to get in the door. Okay, which is ridiculous. Okay. I'm you know what? I'm going to drop it right here because there's a rant that could take me hours, okay? But there's the security theater for schools is not the solution.
No.
So,
Before we go to the next article, I just want to point out that this woman actually went above and beyond to actually blend in. She actually dyed her hair and tanned her skin to more closely resemble her daughter. She started recording outside her daughter's school. She said, "Do I look like a 7th grader? No? Cool. Awesome." She is apparently 4 foot 11 inches and weighs 105 pounds, according to the jail records.
Fucking shit.
That's what they're called. Sorry. I just
What?
remember what they're called. Tiger teams.
Oh, there we go.
That's what the old school name was called for penetration, for like security penetration experts, ones who would go in and deliberately break into secure locations, banks, offices, anything like that, anything that had high sensitive information. They would stage a break in and see and test your security system.
Mm-hmm. Let's see. Oh, here's where the tampering with government evidence, government paperwork comes in. She apparently wrote down her daughter's school ID number and was granted full access to the public school. And she didn't get caught for a long-ass period of time. She attended math class and PE, and pretty much stayed there all day. It wasn't until the last period when a teacher who asked her to stay after class recognized that she was not the 7th grader she claimed to be.
Oh, it took the PE teacher to, oh my god.
No, not the PE teacher. I don't know which class it was, but it was the last period of the day, the last class.
Oh God! So she attended an entire day's worth of classes. You know what? There is a dollar bet on my plate right now that those teachers knew she wasn't a fucking student and just decided to run with it.
They were like, "Fuck it, I don't care."
Especially since, I mean, we don't pay teachers enough to deal with that bullshit. They don't.
We don't.
You know. So.
Anywho, moving right along.
I honestly though, I really do feel like that charge of tampering with government documents by just writing down her daughter's ID number and using it to gain access everywhere, I think that's just a petty aggrievement attachment. I bet that anything that's going to be dropped in the plea.
If they were going to do anything, I would have seen them do like identity theft.
Yeah, because here's the thing. Like, they're saying, "Oh, you tampered with government property." Like, no, she copied down a code number that you give out to all of your students, and you don't have any other way to verify like who they are. So this is on you.
Yeah,
for fucking up.
School IDs.
So I guarantee you, whatever plea she takes, they're going to drop that charge.
Yeah, school IDs. They were a thing when I was in middle school. They were they should be a thing in your school. Writing down a number shouldn't be the end all.
Yeah. You know, I mean, you can go down that road, and eventually what that leads to is like permanently attached bands around the wrist that you can't get into school without.
Yeah.
There's no good solution except certain things outside of the school.
Yeah.
But slippery slope. I'm going to shut up now.
Yeah, we're going to move away from the slippery slope. I didn't mean to get so heavily into that particular topic, but it's something that needs to be said.
It's a tough topic.
It's a tough topic, and it's stupid.
Let's wrap up the softcore material by having something a little bit more humorous. I remember the last time this happened, and I'm glad to be reporting it now. Sheriff attacked by a flying dildo riding a drone.
I do not remember seeing this one.
Oh, incidents like this have been happening for a while. It typically happens when someone gets on a podium talking about them running for some sort of government position or some crap.
Oh, yes, please.
Nobody expects a flying dildo. But that's exactly what confronted Albuquerque Sheriff Manuel Gonzalez III, whose campaign for mayor, was dramatically interrupted at an event on Tuesday, the week of June 3rd, 2021. He was interrupted by a large sex toy attached to a drone. The drone hovered toward Gonzalez as he was answering a confrontational question from a member of the audience, and it provoked nervous laughter from the crowd of about 70 people. What a sad turnout. Gonzalez,
Yeah.
Gonzalez attempted to continue muddling through his answer as a woman in the audience asked, "Is that a dong on a drone?" Turns out it was. Oh, man.
Fair warning, the video has some really crappy, funny music overlaid on it. So just so you know,
It is pretty crappy quality. It's sped up and everything. It's pretty much... It's exactly what you expect. It's a 4-fan drone flying around with just a big ol' honking dildo right underneath it. And then someone just fucking grabs it. Just grabs it by the shaft and just pulls it out of the air.
pretty much.
Anywho.
They use a 12-inch softy on it. So.
Yeah.
That's just fucking hilarious. It's still just great. I'm just like, oh my god, this is awesome.
Oh yeah, the last time I saw this happen, it was like a Russian fucking thing. And it was like, it was literally a dildo attached to a drone. The offending object was then snatched from the air by a man identified in the press as the owner of the establishment hosting the event, Revel Entertainment Center. The incident resulted in criminal charges for 24-year-old Kalen Ashby Dreyer, who has reportedly been accused of punching Gonzalez on his hands during a brief scuffle at the foot of the stage after the flying dildo was grounded and Dreyer tried to retrieve it. Dreyer has been charged with petty misdemeanor battery and misdemeanor resistance, evading or obstructing an officer, according to the Albuquerque
Bullshit.
Oh,
Bullshit.
go fuck yourself.
Oh yeah, it is
bullshit.
I know.
Sorry, it's just like, okay, so interfering with an officer, you're a fucking sheriff running for mayor. You're not in. It's not in the course of your duties. Okay.
Mm-hmm. So
yeah, this is a crack.
Yeah, Dreyer reportedly told the police that he didn't mean to hit Gonzalez, but was upset by the way the sheriff answered a question and had meant to swing his fist in the air. Gonzalez's campaign issued a defiant statement saying the candidate was unhurt and blaming the whole thing, which was captured on video, on an uncoordinated attempt to disrupt his campaign. "I will not be intimidated," Gonzalez said. But the incident may be more complex than it appears, and it remains unclear who exactly was behind the dildo drone. Gonzalez has pointed the finger of blame at his political opponent, Albuquerque Mayor Tim Keller. Keller has denied any involvement.
I'm gonna be different than I normally would be. Okay,
Uh-oh.
And I'm gonna say here's what the mayor candidate should have done. Okay, he should have just stood there, looked up, and went, "Yes, people, that's a dong on a drone. I don't know who's flying it, but he's a dick."
Yeah.
Okay, and gone with that. All right, and that would have been the end of it. It would have gotten a laugh out of your audience. Okay. And it would have embarrassed the crap out of the flyer, okay, because you're not fazed or ruffled. But instead, he got ruffled, okay, and the guy did exactly what he meant to do with the dong on the drone.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Here's the problem. It's and sorry if I get a little political, just a tiny bit.
I mean, it's
He's
fine.
a cop. Cops hate being disrespected.
Correct.
Well, yes.
Absolutely.
If they're disrespected, you're lucky if you don't get shot.
Yeah.
This is why I still have a boat in the back of my yard that I don't own. Okay? Because the previous owner, all right, was a county cop in another state, okay, who was previously a friend, and I disagreed with him on the blue line. Okay?
Ooh.
And now I can't transfer the title because if they call back, he's going to be a dick about it.
Mm.
Okay? And it's rampant among police officers. Okay? It really is. They have they're built up and trained to have such an ego on them and such a chip on their shoulder that if you say the wrong thing, okay, you literally, Shirley's right, you could get shot.
Yeah.
So, it's idiotic.
Well, here's a statement from Tim Keller regarding the incident. By now, people have seen the video where Manny was interrupted by a drone with an adult toy attached to it. No question, it was disruptive, rude, and immature. We denounce demeaning antics and urge residents to participate in political process in a respectful manner. Dreyer told the outlet that he's not working for Keller. Manny Gonzalez is trying to associate me with Tim Keller or radical leftist behavior, Dreyer told the Journal. I'm not a fan of Tim Keller either, and identify as a libertarian. And then here comes this wrinkle in the story. Here comes this wrinkle. Meanwhile, a Twitter account named Dongcopter505 established in... Dongcopter505. This was an account established in May. They've claimed responsibility and released a statement both denouncing Gonzalez and claiming Dreyer was not responsible.
It sounds like something from the movie Orgasmo, which I've never seen, by the way. To the Dongcopter.
Dongcopter505.
Oh my god.
Oh my god.
That's the title of this
for those
episode.
Of you who don't know, so for those of you who don't know what Gray's talking about, there was I use in very heavy quotation marks, superhero movie that came out years ago.
Superhero movie. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
And it's about this guy who like a virgin, mind you, who ends up with a gun that when you're hit with it, you automatically have an orgasm.
Oh my god.
It's is it Trey and Matt Stone that did
I
that
think
movie?
So. I think they were behind it. It was during the lull in the superhero genre after Shaquille O'Neal did Steel.
Oh my
god. And during like that really like malaise period of the late 90s when the only things coming out were parodies and comedies. That's it. Nothing of substance was actually coming out.
I've seen clips of this movie, and I really need to sit down and watch it at some point because it's one of those so bad it's good movies. So
do you need to though? Do you really?
Yes, I really need to see this movie.
Trey, you made us watch The fucking Room and the making of The Room.
Hey, I didn't make you watch The Room. That hasn't happened yet. At least I don't think it has.
No, we've watched it. I know we have.
Well, probably wasn't because of me.
Anyway.
But
yeah, it's a really weird film.
Well, this is a very weird fucking article. And it only gets weirder and more irritating from here on out, but before we continue, it's time to take our second and final music interlude of the night. So, with that, we'll be right back with Trademark's Trainwreck, a show featured on Celestial Radio. I'll fan them all the time, except when it's Dongcopter 505.
To the Dongcopter! Can I face rig myself as Pickle Rick?
Please don't.
Please don't. Welcome back, passengers, to Trademark's Trainwreck, a show featured on Celestial Radio, all fandom, all the time. It's time to do the hardcore material, everybody, and I've got three. I've got 3 good candidates for, going straight to hell. 2 of them share a theme, and then there's the last asshole in this group. First off, let's talk about the Make-A-Wish Foundation.
One of the few actual legit charity organizations still left out there in the world.
Yeah, the ones that, grant the wishes of kids that are literally dying of cancer or brain tumors or all sorts of I almost want to say near impossible to operate conditions, but that's, well, depending on the funding, it's not impossible. Someone should have told that to this former CEO of Make-A-Wish Iowa, who admitted to stealing funds meant for sick kids.
Oh my god.
Oh god.
What was he the CEO of?
The Make-A-Wish Foundation in Iowa.
Yeah. She was the CEO of the Iowa Make-A-Wish Foundation. She pleaded guilty to multiple charges that she embezzled money from the charity to line her own pockets. Jennifer Woodley admitted to giving herself unapproved raises and bonuses and using the charity's credit card for personal use. Charity's credit card? I didn't even know that was a thing.
Yeah, look, if you're okay, So if you're running a big charity organization like Make-A-Wish or Amnesty International or any other thing like that, you need to have financial guys helping run things, especially if it's international. So they have people who run to specific branches and they get corporate credit cards.
Oh.
That's the thing that bugs me about this, and we'll continue with the article in a second, is that as an employee of a 501c, because that's what this is, you can make a shit ton of money. Okay?
Yes.
You really can, because at the end of the year, these companies cannot have any profits. So what do? They give it out in bonuses. Okay? And so what, this lady wasn't making enough money at the end of the year?
Well, let's take a look.
Let's continue, yeah.
In total, this woman stole $41,000 from the Iowa chapter of the Make-A-Wish Foundation. Prosecutors said she began stealing from the charitable organization just 2 months after being hired as CEO in August 2019. She didn't even fucking wait for a bit.
Bad apple. Bad apple.
Bad.
Right off the bat.
She gave herself a $10,000 bonus that was not approved by the board of directors. She also made $23,000 worth of personal purchases using the charity's credit card. She pleaded guilty to 2 felony counts of first-degree theft and 1 felony count of fraudulent practices. As part of a plea agreement, prosecutors will recommend that she spends 5 years of probation and pay restitution and fines. She will be sentenced on July 20th.
Yeah, no, she was buying meth.
$41,000 worth of meth?
Yeah, look at her face. Look at her face and look at her hair.
I mean...
She's almost certainly a drug addict of some sort. Okay.
No, it's a rich person's drug then, if that's the case.
But $41,000
that.
$41,000 worth of it, though?
Depends where she is. It might.
Yeah, it depends on where she is, and it depends on the quality of the product. Like, there is some places in upstate New York where you have to go to a really, good dealer to get some cocaine that is like extremely high quality.
Oh, I only use the fanciest cocaine. Oh.
No, that's actually literally yes.
Yes.
Are you kidding me? I just did a shitty fucking joke. Are you fucking kidding me?
No, that's
they don't do it. They don't do it in that voice, but yeah, that's exactly what it's like. Okay, look, you ever hear about these stories, especially in the early aughts, where these rich white kids were getting busted for unknown drug charges? It's because they were getting into the high end coke,
right?
And like ecstasy and acid. Like, it happened all the time in New York, in upstate New York, or in the East Coast in San Francisco. Bunch of bored ass rich white kids getting themselves high as a kite on the really good stuff, and then going out and do something stupid.
Christ.
When is it my turn? When do I get to high on the really good stuff?
Don't ask. Okay.
You have to ask, then you don't know.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
All I know is that my dad used to drag me down to a particular town nearby, and the car smelled like socks after they started smoking. It was pretty it was pretty nice.
Okay, here's a quote from Make-A-Wish Foundation. We appreciate that the Iowa legal system resolved this matter with an agreement that includes restitution. As always, we remain committed to ensuring that donations to Make-A-Wish are safeguarded and properly used to advance our vision of granting the wish of every eligible child fighting a critical illness.
You have to be especially morally bankrupt to do shit like this. You really do. I mean, okay.
I mean, this woman, seriously, she should be working for a Fortune 500, or working under Bezos, or being like Jeffrey Epstein's secretary.
To steal from a charity.
That she can't.
To steal from a charity is one thing, but the Make-A-Wish Foundation, that is why this woman is a shoo-in for the straight to hell card. But this next one blows my fucking mind. Just the silly.
What's the third one like?
The silliness. The silliness. Now, I'm going to say right here and now, it's pretty much the same thing as the Make-A-Wish woman, but just I'm going to read you the title. You're not going to believe me, but this is... It comes from a reputable source. California nun pleads guilty to stealing $835K to pay for gambling habit.
Whoa. Okay.
Yeah.
That's a new one.
It's a new one.
I have never...
Not entirely. I mean, the Catholic Church is full of vice and sin.
Yeah, but still, I've never, in all the time that I have done Trainwreck, before or after the YouTube crossover, I've never reported on anything regarding a nun. Let alone a gambling nun.
Well, I mean, yeah, most of the stuff that we deal with in the Catholic Church involves the priests.
Yeah, but I tend to stay away from those. But
not all of them. Remember that priest that got busted for filming the porno in his rectory.
There was that one. Anyway. Oh, she's a retired nun, so that's slightly better. She's from Los Angeles, and she's agreed to
plead... Angels.
Yep. She's agreed to plead guilty to federal charges for stealing over $800,000 from a Catholic school to fund her gambling habit.
Ugh.
Prosecutors said that Mary Margaret Kruper, 79, used her position as principal at St. James Catholic School in the Los Angeles suburb of Torrance to embezzle $835,000 in tuition and donations. For 10 years of her 28-year tenure as principal, Kruper directed money from the school's bank accounts, including one that was, quote, established to pay the living expenses of the nuns, end quote, into her own coffers. School officials didn't realize she had been skimming money from their accounts until she retired in 2018.
When, all of a sudden... So she did this while she was at... Okay, yeah. So they only found out about it because they're like, wait, why we have a lot more money than we normally do with our budget?
Yeah.
What changed?
Well,
I believe Sister Mary Krupa had retired, sir. That's the only thing that I realized that's changed.
Might want to investigate her spending habits.
I want to look into this.
Yeah. Without the knowledge and authorization of St. James School or the administration, Defendant Kruper then used diverted funds to pay for expenses that the order would not have approved, much less paid for, including large gambling expenses incurred at casinos and certain credit card charges. This was a statement officials wrote in the indictment. Kruper admitted that she falsified the school's financial records to keep officials in the dark about her scheme. Ah, that explains it. In one instance, she ordered school employees to destroy financial records during a routine audit. Because that's not fucking suspicious at all.
Well, I mean, she didn't get caught until after the fact, so,
I mean, fair, but still, just like, the fact that no one questioned this. The fact that no one went, why are we burning this during an audit? Because God said so. I don't fucking know.
Probably.
By falsifying these reports in this way, Defendant Kruper lulled St. James School and the administration into believing the school's finances were being properly accounted for and its financial assets properly safeguarded, which in turn allowed Defendant Kruper to maintain her access and control of the school's finances and accounts and thus to continue operating the fraudulent scheme. That is another statement from the indictment. Kruper was charged with one count of wire fraud and one count of money laundering and faces up to 40 years behind bars.
Well, she's gonna die before that's up.
Yeah, this woman is in her 70s, 79.
I clicked on the note on the link there about order school employees to destroy records, and it comes up with another article from KTLA 5, and it says that there is another woman that was involved in this. Initially implicated in the scheme was Lana Chang, who worked as a teacher at the school before becoming vice principal.
Ooh.
Asked about her, a spokesman for the U.S. Attorney's Office in Los Angeles said Wednesday that only Kruper was charged in the case and the government considers the investigation closed. So I've got to wonder if this is somebody who turned on her.
Oh, it absolutely is. I
Oh,
can
it's gotta
guarantee you
be.
what happened was the IRS was that the school board did a audit and found some discrepancies.
Anomalies. They found
So
anomalies.
they found anomalies. So they went to the vice principal and said, "What the fuck's going on here?" And after, of course, they did a thorough forensic, economic forensic investigation. It was financial forensic investigation.
Yeah.
They went to her and said, "What the fuck's going on? You better tell us, or we're going to haul your ass in for $800K in fraud." She's like, "Okay, look, it wasn't me. It was the fucking principal who just retired. She wanted to do this."
Just. Why?
All right, real talk here. You know, as the son of someone who dealt with a severe addiction, gambling is bad. It is a horrible addiction. People can
There
get
is.
drowned into it, and it is one of the worst too. Because while drugs and alcohol can destroy your health, it's a long, slow burn process. A gambling addiction can destroy you financially. It can also
Yeah.
get you into serious trouble with the people who are willing to loan you money, who you really shouldn't be asking for it. This is how you get broken kneecaps and 222s behind your head. You can't pay
Cement
back that debt.
shoes.
So, I mean, what she did was wrong, but sadly, she's clearly a woman who had an addiction and never got help.
Yep.
And this is what happens when you have an addiction and you don't get help. You are desperate for that next high of whatever it is, or desperate to pay off whoever you're in debt to because of your because of your choices dictated by your addiction. So I can't 100% hate her on this.
Well, one, somebody should have noticed the addiction if it truly was there, but two,
What here? Great. I'm going to play devil's advocate for this. It is the Catholic Church.
okay, you know what? I'll give you that one. But one of the other things that comes to mind is I would actually like to see proof of the addiction. I mean, she admitted to it, but I would actually like to have seen proof of that because the Catholic Church has a history of people falling on their swords for other people. Okay? I'm not saying that's what happened here, but it's a possibility, and it's not a big one, but it is possible. I like to believe the best in people when I can, but seeing as the other person turned on her, yeah, it's a good chance she was just the one gambling, but it's possible she could have been paying off somebody else's debts. So, but nope, it's I'm done with her. So
Same. That's
I mean, and again, I can't 100% hate it because if this was a gambling addiction, and again, sometimes people hide their addictions really, really well, and also the Catholic Church has a really bad track record of helping people with addictions. For fuck's sake,
a track record of noticing anything.
Yeah, for fuck's sake. I mean, Alcoholics Anonymous was started by Protestants, I want to say, or Baptists. It's one of the two.
I don't
Nothing to do
remember.
with the Catholic Church. So the sheer fact of the matter is that, like, the Catholic Church, while they do say they try and help people with addictions, their way to help is to pray the addiction away and not give them actual counseling. So it's not like they would have done jack shit for this woman if it was an actual addiction, which it sounds like it was if she racked up $800,000 in debt.
That's a lot of money.
Yeah, it is a lot of money.
I can't believe that amount that there wasn't somebody trying to show up at the school, okay, to call her on it. You know what I mean? So how do you not notice that?
Especially since gambling isn't really legal in California except in established areas, where you can gamble. It's like, kind of like everywhere except Vegas and native reservations.
This is why we have riverboats here in my state. So
because they're a moving casino hall, and that doesn't count.
Correct. Absolutely. Shout out to my wife's $14 hat.
So, one last article tonight, our final candidate for the Going Straight to Hell card. We haven't had a chance to talk about Florida Man just yet tonight, have we?
No, we've actually skipped everything but Florida at this point.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's actually kind of amazing. It's rare, but it does happen. It's not like this is a first.
I have saved the best for last, and I did my research with this article. I double-checked it. I made sure that a certain individual in this story is just fine. And before you ask, well, why did you have to look that one up? Listen to the fucking title of this article. Listen closely. Florida man throws infant at deputies during police chase.
Oh my fucking god.
Yeet the
Oh
baby.
man.
Oh.
Oh wow.
This was posted June 7th, 2021. And yes, before anyone says anything, I checked. The article says the baby is fine.
I hope
So,
the cop caught him.
yes. With that in mind, let's take a look at this. A Florida man is behind bars following a wild police chase in which he threw a baby at police officers. Authorities said that an officer tried to pull over John James III for a traffic violation, but he refused to stop. James evaded officers and was driving recklessly, forcing them to use a helicopter to track him. After 40 minutes, James struck an unmarked patrol car. Deputies then deployed stop sticks to disable his SUV, forcing him to pull into into an apartment complex in Vero Beach. James got out of his vehicle, and as officers began to chase him, he threw a 2-month-old infant at them. He just turned...
Surprised he actually had the wherewithal to take the kid out of the car with him.
Yeah, because he probably mistook him for a fucking hand grenade. He just turned around. No regard, not a little toss or anything. He just turned around, overhand threw his 2-month-old at me from about 6 feet away.
Jesus Christ.
That's a quote from Deputy Jacob Kirby. One of the officers managed to catch the infant, who was unharmed. There you go. He was just a cute little baby, fluffy hair, had a cute little outfit on, Kirby said. Luckily, we were able to get the baby away from him before he did trip and fall or try to carjack somebody else. Officers tracked down... Whoop, yes?
Finish the article. I've got something to say about this, but yeah, finish the article.
I got things to say too. Let's go.
Yeah, I've got just a little bit to go. Officers tracked down James and tried to arrest him as he kicked and bit them. He was eventually taken into custody and is facing charges of aggravated child abuse, reckless driving, resisting arrest with violence, and aggravated battery on a law enforcement officer. He was booked into the county jail and is being held without bond. You can't throw a baby at us and expect us to treat you with kid gloves, Sheriff Eric Flowers said. And that's it. So, gentlemen,
well,
discuss.
Okay, so here's what I gotta say. I have found the more crazy. I have found the worst of the two. I have found the worst one that's actually worse of the attempting to avoid police pursuit than the one I heard probably 15 years ago about the guy who was being chased by the cops and cut off his own dick and threw it at the PD.
What?
Yeah, that happened.
I'm not. Let's not even address that one just yet.
But I have found one that disturbs me more. This one is worse. This is worse.
Oh, okay. All right. Let me dissect this from top to bottom here. First of all, I don't blame the guy for running from the cops. Okay, he's black and he's in Florida and he has his kid in the car. Okay, I totally understand why he fled. Okay, because being black in a car, even with your kid, is a good way to get shot. All right. He loses all respect for me with the lobbing of the child, okay,
Yes.
at the officers. Okay, that's where it falls down. Okay, if he had kept the kid and ran and then was knocked down and captured, okay, I would have been, okay, this man was running to try and protect his kid. This is not what happened.
No.
Either he blew his mind so badly trying to flee the cops that he automatically tossed the kid. Okay. You know, I can think of only a couple of things that would go through my mind in those things is that maybe he knew the officer would catch the kid, okay? But
Yes.
even then, that's still beyond the pale. Okay,
Yeah.
how do you throw your child? Okay,
He
yes, there are times where I have wanted to yeet my daughter. Yes, every parent has those moments, okay?
Yep.
But not when they're 2 months old, okay, and not at a police officer,
No.
okay, and wow, wow, okay.
Yeet them into a pool. Yeet them
No,
onto
don't
trampoline.
yeet a baby into a pool. That's worse.
I said
'Cause they-
children.
Children,
Okay,
in
okay, good.
general.
Children, as long as they can swim. God's sake.
A pile of leaves that you've raked into a big pile, okay, those are safe things to eat. In the ball pit, eating them into the ball pit, that is
Yeah.
a safe eat, okay, depending on the age
Yeet
of the
them
child.
into the snow.
But my God, this is just idiotic. I will say only one thing about the officer's actions: good on catching the kid and good on not shooting the guy.
Yes.
Okay, because he is black and he's fleeing the scene, and
Yep.
that has been the formula for being gunned down for decades. So
An unfortunate but true reality.
unfortunately, but true reality. But oh my God, he overhanded the kid. It's not like he dropped and fumbled and tossed the kid behind him or something. He literally took his kid, overhanded it like a fucking football.
Yeah.
Okay, and threw the kid at the police officers. I mean, this is the brain capacity to make that decision work is just it astonishes me because I have a hard time understanding how many of those parental controls would have to drop before I could do that.
Yeah, right?
It's fucking nuts. Like he no longer saw that child as a human being. He saw that child as a tool. He went, if I throw this child, they will focus all their attention on making sure that child is safe rather than chase me. That is the only logical assumption I can make regarding this man's thought process when he made that decision.
Yeah, and the only thing I can think of, like I said, is he decided that the child might be safer with the police because he was going to be shot. Okay, that's the only answer I will accept for a thought process that might do this, but it's still a failure. Okay, still a failure because you have taken that child out of your care.
Yes.
Okay, you've taken that child out of your responsibility in the most spectacular manner you could have done in the situation. So,
That's gorgeous. Absolutely beautiful. I mean, it would have been better if he just left the kid in the fucking car. I'm this thought process. He's like, I'm being chased by cops. I've got my kid in the car with me. Oh no, the car's been disabled. Get out, gotta run from the cops. Don't forget the kid. Yeah, I won't forget the kid. But then all of a sudden,
Must use him as a distraction. I must use him as a distraction.
If he had left the kid in the car, I would have said he is worried about being shot, but he knows they won't shoot the kid. Okay, I would have bought that.
Maybe
but still,
maybe he thought he was
high.
Maybe he thought he was in like a shitty video game where like there's a power up that looks like a baby and it produces a stink bomb or some shit.
You know what? I know what it was. He's played too much Fallout 4 with mods. Okay, so he's using the. You know which mod I'm talking about. You know which one I'm talking about. It's the Fat Man mod that makes the Fat Man nukes look like Sean the kid.
Oh,
as the baby.
I've never never seen that mod, but I have seen the extent to which Fallout 4 players mod the shit out of the game.
There's literally a mod that makes the Fat Man ammo look like the baby Sean, and literally can nuke people with Sean. But still,
you sure
it
was Sean or was it his like sister or what the fuck ever? Because I think Sean. Oh no, that's Carl. My bad.
Yes, that's Carl.
I've never watched The Walking Dead beyond season 1. I've lost interest
Oh,
immediately.
that's not Walking Dead. I wasn't talking about. I was talking about Fallout 4.
Oh, Fallout 4. Oh, I'm an idiot. My fucking brain. My brain. Like I said earlier, my brain's fucking stupid tonight, and I think that's a good and proper time
Yes,
for
but
us
you
to.
would not yeet a child, though. I mean, so
No.
even with your brain at this condition, you would not yeet a child.
Of course not, because I still have common sense.
I'll send my final thoughts on this hardcore material as 3 of you go directly to hell. Do not pass go. Do not collect,
$200.
200 points worth of like virtues. Just straight to hell.
Straight to
All of
hell.
you.
Bye. I award you no points, and may God have mercy on your soul. Anyway, we're done. I'm at a loss as to what the title of this episode is going to be. I thought I had a good contender with Dongcopter 505, but now Yeet the Baby is a good contender as well.
I don't know. I kind of feel like Straight to Hell is a good overall for this entire thing, because we've had like we've had some pretty, like, even though in the softcore material a lot of it was like, some of it was good nature, but there is a few people who are just like, you're going to hell for that.
Yeah. I don't know. I'll think of something by the time I fucking edit this episode together for the YouTube iteration. Anywho, thank you for listening.
Yeet the Baby. That sounds like a song we could come up with. Yeet the Baby. Yeet the Baby.
No, it's actually it actually is a play. It's actually a play on the very old South Park meme: "Kick the baby, don't kick the baby, kick the baby."
Oh
There we
yeah.
You know, when Ike was a little kid
Oh yeah.
instead of a kindergartner.
Anywho, thank you for listening to this episode of Trademark's Trainwreck. With me here tonight has been RandomGreymane.
Yeet the Baby. Yeet the Baby.
And Sherlock.
You are all terrible people.
Yes.
All of you.
Like you're one to talk.
Hey, I don't, go around throwing kids and stealing from charities.
Fair enough. As always, our theme song was created by Marivex, and our banner art was created by Court Awesome. You can find their social media, our social media, and all of the articles in the description below on the YouTube iteration. And if you're watching this episode of Trademark's Trainwreck on there, I would appreciate it if you like, comment, subscribe, and all that shit. Share the video. Share the channel. Share it, even if you don't think this show is all that good. Personally, I don't really care. This is a chill out show. This is a hobby, but I personally don't mind if you share and give constructive criticism and all that shit. Even if
I am a fucking coffee. I'm a coffee.
Yeah, a coffee would be nice. We do have a coffee page, if you wouldn't mind. I'm not expecting too much. Honestly, even if the most constructive criticism I get is go fuck yourself, I don't mind. As long as I get some community...
It is YouTube comments, after all, so...
Yeah, exactly.
As long as I get some community interaction, I'm perfectly fine. Anywho, once again, thank you for listening to this show. Yeah, I already did my outro, so my name is Trademark, and good night.